It is a busy Friday. Fox News alert now. A historic and unusual moment is about to unfold. Former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, is set to sit for a deposition. And House Oversight Republicans want answers about his ties to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. It's part of their investigation into how that pedophile built close ties with many of the world's most powerful people. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. Let's take a quick look now at the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center. Yes, Capitol Hill went there on a field journey to interview the Clintons, and they are under oath. This is about an hour's drive north of New York City. And the Clintons live in that town. This deposition is an unprecedented moment, as I mentioned, in modern congressional oversight. Yesterday, Hillary Clinton testified for roughly 6 hours under oath. After that, she had this to say about her husband's ties to Jeffrey Epstein.
I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light, and that he was charged and sadly given a sweetheart deal.
Oversight Chairman James Comer spoke to the media just moments ago.
Well, it took 7 months to get the Clintons in here. But we've got them in here, and we look forward to asking lots of questions that I think any curious media outlet in America would have. Yesterday, Ms. Clinton deferred a lot of questions to her husband today. There were at least a dozen times when she said, "You'll have to ask my husband that. I can't answer that."
All right, so they'll be asking the Hillary unanswered questions to Bill today. Republican Congressman Scott Perry spoke with that session after the session with Hillary Clinton yesterday.
I would just say one of the things I learned today is if you really have specific questions about the Clinton Global Initiative or the relationship between the Clintons and Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, you got to ask Bill Clinton.
Former House Oversight Chairman himself, Jason Chaffetz, coming up in focus. Let's begin with Chief Congressional Correspondent Chad Pergram. Chad.
Harris, good morning. This is an extraordinary moment. The testimony of a former president. Republicans don't think that Bill Clinton necessarily did anything wrong. This is all born out of a House effort last summer to compel the release of the Epstein files. We saw them roll in some documents into the room just a little bit ago. Now, the committee subpoenaed various luminaries, including the Clintons, Bill today, but Hillary yesterday.
I never met Jeffrey Epstein, never had any connection or communication with him. I knew Ghislaine Maxwell casually as an acquaintance. But whatever they asked me, I did my very best to respond.
Republican Nancy Mace says Hillary was, quote, screaming and unhinged during the deposition. Unlike Hillary Clinton, her husband associated with Epstein. He traveled with Epstein, and Epstein donated money to the Clinton Foundation. Republicans want to know how Epstein used his connections to hide his crimes. That's part of the reason that Bill Clinton is here today. Explain to us specifically what you need to hear from President Clinton today. What do you want to know?
President Clinton had, and Secretary Clinton confirmed this yesterday, Jeffrey Epstein was in the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. We know that Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane at least 27 times. So those are questions that we're going to ask.
Democrats are happy to have Bill Clinton testify today. They want to establish a precedent and eventually call President Trump. They believe that calling a former president helps them do that, especially if they win the House this fall. But Republicans say that does not matter.
The Democrats didn't need a precedent to go after President Trump. I mean, whether Bill Clinton comes in for a deposition or not, if in fact they get control, which I don't think they're going to, but if they would, they're going to go after President Trump. They've been doing it for a decade.
Now, there's a big appetite for information about the Epstein files. The quest demonstrates how the public is suspicious of those who are connected and rich and powerful. And this is why they're going to have this deposition today. That push is what compelled Congress to launch this investigation, including calling someone like a former president to testify today. Harris?
Look, there's going to be video of this. Just real quickly to check the fact that I want to make sure I heard it right. Did you say that the former Secretary of State and First Lady was screaming during that deposition? Because did she realize that the cameras were rolling?
Yeah. Well, yes, everybody knew that they're going to put out this video here, but that was something that struck me right before they went into the room where Nancy Mace said she was screaming. And as everybody went back in to start the deposition, I hollered to Nancy Mace. I said, did you say she was screaming? And she said, yes, she was unhinged. So we'll see this videotape. I don't know what the context is there, but that struck me as interesting.
All right, Chad Pergram, thank you very much.
Hey, everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.